Good morning, Abundant Life Church. This is Pastor Chris, and today we're going to wrap up our study on John chapter 12, verses 20 down through 36. Jesus is coming to Jerusalem, big triumph. Some Greeks say, hey, we want to talk to Jesus, really meaning, can we follow him? Jesus' answer, he talks about death. He talks about his resurrection. His answer is basically, yeah, you can follow me. But you have to understand it is not going to be easy. It's not going to be the big victory that you think it is. He's looking for people who have counted the cost and are ready. Let's look now at verses, why don't I have it in my notes? Let's just do verses 33 through 36 here. Verse 33. He said this to show the kind of death he was going to die. The crowd spoke up. We've heard from the law that the Messiah will remain forever. So how can you say the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is the Son of Man? Then Jesus told them, you're going to have the light just a while longer. Walk while you have the light before darkness overtakes you. Whoever walks in the dark does not know where they are going. Believe in the light while you have the light, so that you may become children of the light. When he had finished speaking, Jesus left and hid himself from them. All right. Pretty clear here. Jesus is saying it's not always going to be easy. The crowd's wondering about this. Wait, if you're the Son of God, how are you going to die? They knew he was talking about his death. They just didn't know why he was talking about death. You should be talking about victory. You should be talking about what you're going to do. You should be talking about the kingdom you're going to set up. And you're talking about dying. Prophecy says the Messiah is going to be on the throne forever. So why are you talking about death? That doesn't make any sense. The Messiah is supposed to remain forever. Okay? The ironic thing is the Messiah did remain. Jesus is still the king, isn't he? Yeah. The real question here is if his followers will also remain no matter what happens. You're going to see this Messiah put to death in a few days. You're going to think, well, that's it. He lost. Give it time. Hang in there. Because as bad as it looks now, Jesus is looking for people who can stay with him, even when it looks like everything is lost. These Gentiles that Sunday that Jesus rode into town, oh, they were ready to be a part of that. You know, everybody in the crowd was ready to be a part. We're ready to follow this guy. He's our king. The Pharisees were the only exceptions. Everybody else wanted to be in on that excitement. But Jesus knows in a few days, all this excitement is going away. It's going to turn to horror. It's going to turn to defeat. And you're going to feel lost. You're going to feel like you wasted your time following me. And at that moment, I need you to keep going. I need you to not give up hope. Even after you die, yeah, I need you to not give up hope. At this point, all that had happened was that people were excited because Jesus rode a donkey and they got to wave a bunch of palm branches at him. And he's telling these people who are way too excited that if you think this Sunday's great, give it a week. Just wait till next Sunday. You're going to really see something next Sunday. But to get to next Sunday, you've got to get through Friday. Jesus knew some people were only ready for Palm Sunday, not Good Friday. He needed people who were so faithful that they were ready to pay the price and get through to next Sunday. True discipleship is not always easy. The people who are only ready to follow Jesus when he rides in victory, yeah, you don't know what's really coming. Jesus needs people who are going to say, I am with you no matter what. And if it looks like everything has fallen apart and all hope is lost, I'm still with you. I'm going to close by telling you a story about a couple guys, a father and son. I've known the father for years. Great man. I've never met his son, but I know about him. I know who he is. The father is a guy named Jim Putman, one of my mentors. Jim is one of those guys that over the years I've always called just to, say, hey, Jim, how would you handle this situation? What would you do? Because he's been in ministry forever. Jim is one of the greatest church planters I've ever met. He has, over the years, planted, I think, like 15 churches. Usually, the success rate for a planted church is like 10%. That means out of every 10 churches you plant, 9 of them are going to fail. Jim's success rate with the 15 churches he's planted is 14 of them are still going today. That's a pretty good success rate. All right. With that in mind, I want to tell you about his son, Bill Putman. I've never met Bill, but I know about Bill. Bill is pretty well known. Bill planted a church up in northern Idaho in Post Falls. And he started that church with just a handful of people. The church now is running like 6,000, 7,000 people. So naturally, he wrote a book. And I wish I could remember the name of the book. I've read it, and I get the name shot out of my head. You can Google it if you want again. His name is Jim Putman. But Jim was a wrestler in college. And he told a story about being a wrestler. In his senior year, this means this is now, he's wrestled for 3 years. He's getting ready to start his 4th year. He noticed something. The first practice, the coach would come in and the coach would give a speech. And he would tell him about what you're going to be facing. And he'd talk about the training that you're going to have to go, the running, the exercising, the wrestling, the sacrifice, the dieting, the trying to cut weight. And as he would say this, he noticed all the freshman wrestlers were getting excited. Yeah, we're going to do this. And all the seniors who had been through this just sat there going, oh, no, shaking their heads. They knew this. At least 75% of those freshmen were going to drop out. They were excited when they heard about all the stuff you're going to have to do. They had no idea. But he knew every single senior was going to make it through all that. The seniors knew how brutal it was going to be. They were not excited about it. But he also knew the seniors had been through this. They were battle hardened. They knew what they were getting into, and they were going to stick with it. They were going to enjoy it, but they were going to be there at the end. That's the kind of disciples that Jesus is looking for. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.